Tonight, it's in the hands of the jury. 6 men and 6 women now deliberating the fate of Hunter Biden, the first child of a sitting American president to be charged with a crime. Many members of the first family in the courtroom throughout the trial. All of this is not evidence, said U.S. Attorney Leo Wise in his closing statement while gesturing around the courtroom and in the direction of First Lady Jill Biden in the first row. People sitting in the gallery are not evidence, he said, adding, no one is above the law. The special counsels accused the president's son of lying on a federal background check by checking a box claiming he was not an active drug user in order to purchase a gun. Prosecutors used evidence from Hunter's laptop and also called 10 witnesses, many describing Hunter Biden's frequent drug use, including around the time he filled out that background check in October of 2018. Hunter Biden's ex-wife testified she found drug paraphernalia inside his car in October of 2018. And his ex-girlfriend, who was dating him at that same time, saying Hunter was smoking crack every 20 minutes or so. The evidence was personal. It was ugly. It was overwhelming, Wise told the jury today. It was also absolutely necessary. But defense attorney Abby Lowell argued the prosecution focused far too much on his drug abuse over a 4-year period and saying no one witnessed actual drug use during the window of time that he purchased the gun.
Ryan Nobles joins us now live outside the courthouse. So, Ryan, what type of prison time does Hunter face, and will his father pardon him if he's convicted?
Tom, Hunter is facing a maximum of 10 years in prison over the 3 counts that he's charged with. His father has already said that he will not offer him a pardon if he is convicted. The jury is expected back here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to continue their deliberations. Tom?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.